Now look, folks, I know Halloween's coming tomorrow night. But John McCain, dressed up as an agent of change, that costume doesn't fit, folks. Folks ain't gonna buy that costume. He's a good guy, but agent of change, that's not what John is. Especially when you realize he's got a tough row to hoe, as my grandfather would say. Look, you realize that John McCain, who for the better part of the entire last year has been saying, under George Bush, we've made great economic progress. That was his quote, great economic progress, up until September, I think, 15th he was saying that. John McCain, just this last Sunday on one of the major shows, Meet the Press, when pressed about the similarities between he and Bush, he said, President Bush and I share a common philosophy. As my 10-year-old granddaughter Finnegan would say, hello? I mean, like we wondered whether he did? Ladies and gentlemen, I know we're not running against George Bush, but we are running against the very economic policies that John McCain wants to continue that we've had the last 8 years. Policies that call for tax cuts for companies that send jobs overseas. It's a fact. Who provide, at the same time, no relief for 100 million working families. Policies that call for taxing your health care benefits as income. First time ever. Policies that give another $4 billion a year. This is real now. Another $4 billion a year to the Exxon Mobils of the world, as if they need it. Look, pick up your paper this morning. Just this morning, we received 2 pieces of news. One, first, the gross domestic product. That is all the things that come in, everything about our economy. The measure of our economic strength actually shrank. It got smaller last quarter. It actually shrank. At the same time, it shrank because people have cut back on spending. They don't have money to spend. We are a consumer-driven economy. So the economy shrank. That means lost jobs and a lot of other bad things. But the second thing we learned this morning is ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil announced its largest quarterly profit ever. They made $15 billion this past quarter. Now look, they're not bad guys. I'm not making this populist argument, but let's take a look at it, folks. Here, the entire economy of America is shrinking, and the oil companies this one, in fact, made the largest profit in its history in a quarter. Ladies and gentlemen, what more evidence do we need that the ExxonMobils of the world don't need a tax break? That $4 billion should go to middle-class taxpayers, the people who need the money. John and Governor Palin have this upside down. They literally have it upside down. And I love it. I get back to my hotel at night after we have a great day, and last night again, and I stand up there and I turn on the television as I'm brushing my teeth, getting ready to get in bed, and I got the TV on, and there's always doing something about the election, right? And almost every night I see John and Sarah and Governor Palin on the stage at a rally like I am now and like Barack and I were last night. The part I love best is John will turn to Sarah Palin and go, Maverick, and she'll turn back and go, Maverick. Well, they're the Mavericks, right? These guys are Mavericks. Well, I got a good friend named Senator Bob Casey, United States Senator from Pennsylvania. To paraphrase him, he says, you can't call yourself a Maverick when all you've been the last 8 years is a sidekick. Ladies and gentlemen, these guys aren't Mavericks, they're sidekicks of George Bush. That's not a bad thing, it's just a wrong thing. We don't need 4 more years of sidekicks. Folks, give Barack and me the honor of serving as your president and vice president. And here is what we will commit ourselves to do as straightforwardly as I can say it. We will have for every waking hour 2 overriding goals, literally. The first is to restore the middle class in America. Give them a fighting chance again. And the second is And equally important to you high school students, the second is to reclaim America's respect in the world. Folks, and the first step to reclaiming our respect in the world, our leadership in the world, is to end this war in Iraq. We will end it, and we will end it responsibly by doing what Barack suggested almost 2 years ago, and now is embraced even by George Bush and Prime Minister Maliki in Iraq. What did Barack say almost 2 years ago? He said it's time to set a timeline to draw down our combat troops over the next year and a half and hand over responsibility to the 400,000 Iraqi security forces we have trained. Stop spending $10 billion a month in Iraq and spend it on creating jobs here in this state. Folks, and when it comes to restoring the middle class, Barack and I recognize a very basic thing that presidents used to recognize. Ladies and gentlemen, when the middle class does well, it's not just a matter of fairness, it's a matter of economic progress. When the middle class does well, the wealthy do just fine, and the poor do better. But when the middle class is shrinking, the wealthy get hurt as well as the poor get crushed. Ladies and gentlemen, look what you're seeing now. The middle class shrinks. What's happening? Everything from Wall Street to people on a minimum wage and everyone in between. So folks, there are certain basic things you have to do. This is not rocket science, to rebuild the middle class. The first thing to do, and we mean it, and every independent study shows it, cut taxes for working people. Give them a chance. 2, cut taxes for small businesses. They create all the jobs. And 3, end our dependence on foreign oil. It's killing us. Invest in rebuilding America. Build America roads, bridges, water system, creating right here in Missouri 39,000 new high-paying jobs if we commit to rebuild America.